on this Wednesday, extreme heat is tightening its grip on southwestern Europe. Hundreds of firefighters are battling wildfires in Spain and Portugal, which are in the midst of their third heat wave this summer. Temperatures in both countries have soared above 40 degrees Celsius. That's 104 degrees Fahrenheit.
After 5 days, this fire in southern Portugal is finally under control. It's already torn through 10,000 hectares of land. The blaze grew so large it was visible from space as it spread towards the popular Algarve tourist region. 20 villages and more than 1,400 people threatened by the flames were forced to evacuate.
It was horrible. There was fire everywhere, and we had to fend for ourselves. Nobody was there to help us, but luckily I had 3 friends who came.
Across the border in Spain, firefighters are also dealing with a wildfire in the western region of Extremadura. Locals here are worried about the loss of ancient woodland.
We are worried and upset because we have an enormous massive forest, centenary cork oaks, and we feel very sad for them.
People all across Spain have been dealing with punishing conditions. With 45 degrees Celsius heat in Cordoba and similar highs across swathes of the country, authorities are urging people to stay indoors to protect their health. Scientists say climate change is helping push temperatures to new extremes, with July confirmed as the planet's hottest month on record. Already grappling with record temperatures, increasing wildfires, and historic water shortages. Unfortunately for Portugal and Spain, the future doesn't look much brighter. The whole Iberian Peninsula is set to be one of the European regions hit hardest by climate change.
Well, for more now, I'm joined by Rachel Cletus with the Climate and Energy Program at the Union of Concerned Scientists. Rachel, it's good to see you again. Wildfires, heat waves, that's nothing unusual or new, particularly during the summer in Portugal and Spain. What is different this time?
Look, it's clear that what we're seeing now is unprecedented. These waves and waves of high temperatures, extended heat waves, huge wildfire risk. Portugal and Spain now experiencing it today, but we've seen these wildfires in Greece, in Italy, in France, and accompanied by flooding in parts of Europe as well, in Slovenia, in Norway, etc. So this is a summer that all over the world is shattering records, heat records, and the people are suffering. This is human-caused climate change. It's at our doorstep, and it's now happening in an unprecedented way.
Well, Rich, let me ask you, to what extent can these extreme weather events, how can they be linked directly to climate change?
So what's happening is as heat-trapping emissions from burning fossil fuels primarily are rising and accumulating in the atmosphere, this is creating a long-term trend of rising global average temperatures. So as you said, we're coming off the 2 hottest months on record. 2023 is lining up to be on track to be one of the hottest years on record. It's the trend that's alarming, but the way it's manifesting this year has caught scientists really completely alarmed and shocked. This is happening in a way that's unprecedented in Europe, in the United States, in China, in India, in South America, everywhere in the world. And not just on land, we're seeing some really astronomical sea surface temperatures as well.
Are you saying that maybe by the year 2030, we're going to look back at the year 2023 and say, actually, it was a pretty normal year?
Unfortunately, this year it's being exacerbated by the El Nino that's set in. But yes, unfortunately, this might end up being, in retrospect, the coolest summer on record going forward. It's the hottest summer, likely, it is the hottest summer to date, but at the rate we're going, with emissions going up continually, instead of sharply phasing down fossil fuels and switching to cleaner forms of energy, if we continue to pump carbon dioxide emissions into the atmosphere, then we're going to look back on this moment with a great deal of regret. We're locking in future generations into a world that's truly dangerous. It's already dangerous, and it's going to get worse if we don't sharply cut our emissions.
Rachel Cletus, as always, Rachel, we appreciate your time and your analysis. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And for more on that, I'm now joined by Lorenzo Labrador, the scientific officer at the World Meteorological Organization, joining us from Geneva. Now, the wildfires and heat waves are not unusual during summers in Portugal and Spain. What is different this year?
First off, thanks for having me. What's unusual this year is the fact that these heat waves and wildfires occur in the context of the hottest July ever recorded. As it was said before in your piece, July 2023 will go down in the records as the hottest July ever. And the temperatures in July were 0.72 degrees Celsius warmer than the 1991 to 2020 period, and 1.5 degrees warmer than the pre-industrial era.
Now, to what extent can these extreme weather events be linked directly to climate change?
It is hard to link any one event to climate change. What we can say with certainty is that climate change enhances the possibilities of these events occurring and the severity of them as well. However, a recent study has concluded that, for example, the heat wave that China is currently experiencing, it's a 1 in a 250-year event, and that the heat that was experienced in northern Mexico and the southern US would not have happened if climate change was not a reality.
So what can be done then to mitigate the effects of more frequent heat waves, floods and wildfires?
Well, the first thing is to drastically reduce greenhouse gas emissions, particularly carbon emissions. As the scientific community has agreed, we have about a 7-year window of opportunity to reduce greenhouse gas emissions to about half of what they are now. And what governments and people can do is to have better warning systems that will be in a better position to predict heat waves and droughts and fires, so that people are as prepared as possible to confront these events.
Lorenzo Labrador there from the World Meteorological Organization. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.